Hello everyone, we are live both at the same time in Restream and in my Go Brunch room. We are also streaming on LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm gonna check on YouTube if my voice is well audible. I have my special mic and I'm going to check right now. We are live in YouTube, yes, and is my voice is live? Yes, my voice is live and loud and clear. So I am blessed. This is the day 17th of my NaPodPoMo podcast challenge. It's the challenge that was Miss Navarrete. I don't recall her first name, but it was she's doing podcast in 17 or 19 years. And I'm doing the challenge. I was wrapping up 11 days because I was not doing that for 11 days, but blessed to do it and even to extend the 30 days challenge to extend it until my birthday on the 21st of June. So it will not be 30 days, but 80 days. And right now, I am blessed and delighted to welcome Ryan in the session. So, Ryan, welcome, welcome. Feel free to share your vibe and your energy, who you are, what is your journey.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Hello. Are we live? Can you hear me? Are we live?
Well, you are live, sir.
All right. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Ali, thank you for having me on. It's such an honor for me to be here. And welcome to the audience, too. I know this is something where we can all share experience. So, welcome to everyone. Right now, we're in the beautiful city of Prague, Central Europe. So in Czech, the Czech language, we will normally say Dobré ráno, Dobré ráno, and it is a Slavic-based language. So you will notice that Czech, Polish, Russian, it will all share this beautiful word, dobre, dobry, doble, and they all share this word for good, and that's what it means. It means good. So good morning, dobre rano, and in Russian it will be dobre utra, and in Polish it will be dzień dobry, right? So they all share this beautiful word for good, very much like other languages that neighbor each other. Ali, did you know that the beautiful languages of Southeast Asia also share this similarity? Um, the Thai language in Thailand, uh, Cambodia, Laos, they all share this word sabai. So in Thailand, you would say sabai di krap, right? That means like basically hello, how are you? And in Cambodia, they will say sok sabai, right? So they share that sabai, and then Lao will be just sabai di. So they're neighboring countries, but they also share that word for good. And that's what it means there too. It also means good.
Wow. I am speechless because finding someone who is speaking so much languages and words and even pronouncing correctly what I pronounce badly, dzień dobry. It's impressive. It's impressive. So I would say dziękuję to you if I pronounce it perfectly in Polish.
Yeah, you sure did. You sure did. And thank you for that. And most people are they are familiar with the romantic languages because the romantic languages also share that same word for good. Bon, bueno, bien. What is it? There's one more. There was one where I'm thinking about. So they would say bom dia, right, in Portuguese. And then in, of course, French, it will be bonjour. And of course, in Spanish, we have uh, buenos. So it turns to buen, right? Buenos dias. Yeah. So all these romantic language and Italiano is buongiorno, right?
Well, I'm really blessed
So they also
because
do.
yeah, I'm really blessed because you are imperfectly perfect in languages. And so I am not an Italian native or Spanish native, but I was remembering that normally it's buenas dias because I think dias is feminine, but maybe I'm wrong. And also with Italian, you pronounce all the letters specifically. So they don't say buon giorno, they say buon giorno. But it's okay because
Uh,
it's not easy to be perfect in 10 languages plus. So you are already amazing. You are impressing me.
I guess you could say that's maybe my bar trick. That's what we say in English. It's your party trick to say good morning
Hmm.
in 50 plus languages.
Yeah, like guten Tag, bonjour, merhaba, salam alaikum. I love to say hello and thank yous in multiple languages because I want to connect with people. So right now this session is live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and it's probably also intended to replay team. So if you are live, feel free to comment. If you are in the replay team, I'm happy to welcome your comments later on when you are watching. The blessing is that replay team is, we know live is like 35 minutes. And replay team could be like in 1 hour or 1 day or 1 month or 1 year or even 10 years. We never know when the replay team will show up. But I'm going to show up with you because you are sharing the same passion about language, and my heart is bumping right now. I am excited. It's excellent at EGG. Excellent. I'm also a pancake baker, so I love to play with words. And I am a warrior, WORRD, like the warrior of words, the warrior.
Yeah. In English, we would say
And
a wordsmith. Ali, Ali, you are a wordsmith.
exactly. So tell us more about who, because I was not first knowing if it's Les or Ryan. Do I call you Ryan or do I call you
You
Les?
can call me either or. These are both British and Irish names. Once again, they are neighbors on the globe, right? So I don't think that my family was thinking that some black guy from Compton, California, is going to have British and Irish names. I
Well, it happens. It's good for the education.
I, I think they were just going with what they heard or what they liked. Actually, I came home for 2 weeks without a name, and my grandmother finally put her foot down and she says, "It is enough. Give this baby a name." So
Well done.
yeah, my dad didn't want to name me after himself because it reminded him of his dad, and the relationship wasn't too nice. So they couldn't decide, and going back and forth, and finally my grandmother says, "Okay, less is what it is, and what do you want?" And she asked my mom, and then my mom said Ryan. Okay, so then they stuck with both names, and that was it. So my grandfather's name is Les, my dad's name is Les, and so my name is Les. And my mom likes the name Ryan, so my name is also Ryan.
Yeah. Because I more and more I'm aware about the names and the pronouns also. So if I understood well, your pronouns are he, him, because I want to be sure that it's he, him.
Right, right. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And so, because I was reading a post recently from someone, her name on the profile is Franca Ugasoye, if I understood well. And she rather prefer that we call her Ugasoye and not Franca, or maybe Franca Ugasoye. So sometimes it's like it's good to ask questions, the power of questions, and not to assume. And also sometimes I was hearing like I was having in my audio rooms like 1 or 2 years ago in LinkedIn, I was having someone with the first name Emmanuel, but Emmanuel was on the last. And for some African people, they prefer to put the family name first and then the first name. So I was calling all the time this person with his family name and not his first name, but his name is Emmanuel. So it's really interesting to not assume and to ask questions. And for me, also, I decided to maybe to build myself a new identity. It was a good occasion for me to build a new identity, but also because people were constantly calling me Oliver, and my original name is Olivier, and like I was trying to make it visible, like in my profile in on Zoom, whatever. I was writing Olivier, and then I was making a dash, and then Y-A-Y, Olivier, so that they, they will understand. But then I decided, okay, go for Oli, because then I can also use puns like ravioli, broccoli, broccoli, broccoli. So to play with that.
I
Yeah, so
love that. I
less,
love ravioli.
yeah, exactly. So I will say, and pun intended, less is more.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Yes. Less is
You can
more.
have your tagline if you want. Less is more.
I think that's it. I think we found it. Yeah. Less is more.
Yeah, yeah, and each of us has a superpower. So before you are before you are amazingly passionate about language, and you choose fluentbrain.mi, fluent brain, and you're passionate about language. Tell us more about your journey and what led you to choose languages.
Yeah. So before I founded the company fluentbrain.me, um, you know, there was a long journey there, Ali. Like I mentioned, I'm originally from Compton, California. Gang capital for gang violence in America. uh, and How can I say? Where do I start there? Basically, being able to see your community shift and change into a different language. That's actually what happened before my eyes. So my community started to speak a lot more Spanish. Um, my neighbors started to speak Spanish, and then that influenced me to, hey, maybe I should start to learn this foreign language here, which California used to be actual Mexico or Mexico is how we say it, right? So, mi todos los vecinos hablas español también, and that also influenced me to speak Espanol. And anyways, moving from Compton, I moved to Brooklyn, New York, and finished my adulthood, like growing into an adult there. I moved there in my late teens and grew into the fabric of New York City. And so basically, a lot of my neighbors and coworkers, they spoke the Chinese language. So they spoke Gondonghua, which is Cantonese, and also Guoyu or Putonghua, which is Mandarin. And so, anyways, that experience really expanded my horizons into the the possibilities of new languages. And so, many of my coworkers spoke different, many different languages. I volunteered in New York City. I worked in New York City, hung out with all kinds of different New Yorkers from different walks of life, and young, old, rich, poor, you name it. And it's just been a beautifully rich life. So after New York, it really showed me, hey, I think I can really make this language thing into my passion, something that I love to do, and also something that is possible to help others and add value to their lives. So, which led me to create the company FluentBrain.me. And we've been working on it, working on the website, working on the expanding the services there. I wrote a book about these experiences and how to help people at any level learn a new language, especially native English speaking adults. I noticed that they need a lot of help, more so than an adult like you, Ollie, living in Europe, where you're surrounded by different languages as an adult. You're surrounded by German and English and Spanish because France is surrounded by England and Spain and Germany. However, in the United States, we are surrounded by two oceans and Mexico, which is awesome because, like I said, many of my neighbors were, from Mexico and Guatemala and El Salvador. But unfortunately, the exposure that Americans get is not so much that it affects their life in a way where can learn another languages. And that is where my book comes in. Fearlessly Fluent Fast. It's available on Amazon and anywhere books are sold. So it's really been a big help. I've been getting great from native English speakers from England, from France, from here in Central Europe, from Canada, Australia, South Africa, even, and all the digital nomads out there, like the ones living in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and also that other really big digital nomad spot called Bali.
Oh, of course.
Hmm. Hmm. We had a few.
Yeah.
We had a few responses. There's another big digital nomad spot right here near us, and that's in Porto, in Portugal, Portugal,
Hmm.
and Lisbon. Lisbon is another place. The
Yeah.
Silver Coast is starting to blow up. Don't
Hmm.
tell anybody. Shh. That's our secret, Ollie. The Silver Coast is starting to really expand and blow up with a lot of digital nomads.
Mm. Yeah, and as each place there are the good and the bad and the ugly. I was even aware because Bali is a beautiful place. I never went, but I know a dear friend that went there, and she was always keeping me updated about her adventures there. But of course, Bali is also over spot. There are places that are like Barcelona is going to be red right now because probably too much tourists. There are some cities that are over
Mhm.
touristic and that are like it's like the trends. Like there are cities that are becoming more and more digital nomads, others that are losing their status because probably too much crowd or not so much appealing. I think the most important for me is to be there where there is enough people in your surroundings that are aiming to elevate, to not stay with the status quo of a system that is saying, "Oh, you know." So I would like to redirect more the conversation right now about our common relationship about Rachel. Isn't she amazing?
Yes.
I was knowing her 2 years, a bit more 2 years ago. Even in 2021, end of 2021, I was attending a kind of an information session in Italian from Daniela Bonvinci. But I was waiting probably few months, and then came in 2022 the NeuroHeart conference, and I was saying to myself, that's it. I want to be a certified new language coach because I was already in 2019 aiming to become a trainer in language. And so, tell me more about Rachel.
Yes. So Rachel, I was first introduced to her and her method and her philosophy on learning a language because my philosophy is very, very closely aligned with her philosophy. Um, I want to say, like you said, maybe about a few years ago. So we probably got introduced to Rachel around the same time, Ollie. That's interesting. I didn't know that about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was introduced to her a few years ago, and I bought her book, and of course researched her website, and jumped right into neuro language coaching because I was already unknowingly practicing neuro language coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's how well aligned we are.
Mm-hmm.
I was already doing it, and this gave me an official framework in order to practice that in. So uh, basically, and I included in my book, Fearlessly Fluent, I I included Rachel, and I wrote a section of the book specifically about her because she is so influential in the language learning space for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So I when I took her course, I was able to spend more time with her, and she is an amazing polyglot of a woman. Not only is she fun and funny as an interesting person, but she also carries this depth of almost like beyond her years, you can say. And so I believe she's going for her doctorate now, which is
Yes.
awesome. She last year she studied in the U.S. On a doctorate program, and it's been amazing her progress and just really inspiring to.
Yes, very inspiring. She's studying her doctorate with Dr. Boyatzis, Dr. Richard
Mhm.
Boyatzis. And I was amazed because I was knowing him a little bit before at various occasions since 2020. But seeing him in the free session, it was on the 15th February, by the way. In the comments, I will bring also the links to the free library where people can sign in and watch the
Mhm.
replay. But it was really incredible, and I bought his book few weeks ago, and I'm really willing to make a book club. Even if I'm the only one attending the book club, I will do it for myself because I want to scrap into the book of the Science of Change. I think it's his new book of last year, and
Ooh,
yeah,
can you
exactly.
put it in the link? Can you share it? Can you share it in? Can you share the link there
Um,
in the chat?
uh,
I would love to check it out.
yeah, I will give it to you later on, and I will share it on the comments later on. I want to stay focused on our session, and it could be like 1 or 2 minutes of distraction if I do it now. But
Oh, sure, sure, sure. No
yeah,
worries.
so for me to realize it, I'm going to be vulnerable right now in front of you and in front of the audience in the replay team. I was aiming since September 2019 as a language trainer. And then in 2022, I was discovering NeuroLanguage coaching in the scope of 18 months. In fact, from June 2022 to November 2023, I was doing the three course. I was doing the basics of neural language coaching. I was doing the neural language coaching in action. And then
Hmm.
end of 2023, I was doing the neural language coach advanced. And I got to still be certified neural language advanced. I was not yet making the assessment. It has been a bit more than a year. In fact, I think 14, 15 months. I've been letting time fly, probably chasing things like the FOMO syndrome. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. Or
Right, right.
maybe wearing others' buckets, attending so many sessions that I was not having time or I was procrastinating to wear my own buckets and to advance in my mission. And now I feel
Mhm.
the urgency because 2, 3, 4 years ago, I had the finances and I blow up my finances, by the way, in various programs, including I'm proud to have done it, the neural language coaching. But at the same time, now my finances are red and I cannot anymore afford what I've done, or especially when I've not done the inaction, the price of inaction, or the price of doing things in the mindset of I wanna do this to feel complete
Mhm.
and not taking time to write any book and not taking time to be more intentional about my time. And now I feel the urgency because I cannot do anymore the investment that I did last year and the years before. So I feel this urgency now to, okay, my birthday is on the 21st of June. I have now 60 days to uh, press the lemon on my mission and to do that and not to
Mhm.
chase any ghosts. So
Mhm.
that's my vulnerable share to you and to the audience.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for being so vulnerable about that, Ollie. I know many of us, myself included, and those listening, have these types of struggles also. I can say definitely my journey has had some bumps along the way, and very similar to yours. Like you said, what do we call it in English? Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
SOS. And do you notice that the letters spell
Yeah,
SOS?
exactly. I was noticing. But in fact, it's just we can keep the acronym but changing the word. So stepping back from the shiny object syndrome, but adopting another SOS. Stand back, observe, and then steer.
Uh-huh. Step back, observe, and steer. I see. I see. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that because it allows you space and time to make a correction. Mhm.
Yes.
Almost like the Titanic. Almost like the
Oh,
Titanic, right?
yes,
To
yes, yes.
avoid.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I think I don't know in your side, but I don't like to put myself on any label. I would say more I am more and more, especially these last 3 to 6 months, connected with Jesus and with God. And I think there is a meaning that we could be rewritten about the word repent. REPENT. Repent.
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
what is said, especially about Christianity and the classic church, is to have shame, blame, to bend our knees, and to have guilt. And no, repent is like opening our eyes and say, "Oops, let me change direction and have more meaning." And there is a movie that I like so much I can also refer as a metaphor. And there is a powerful scene in that movie. The movie is Soul from Pixar. Do you know that movie?
Yes, I do know that movie. That's interesting.
And so there is a scene in the Lost Zone where people are either on the flow, like they are having amazing inspiration and they are in the flow zone, or they are so obsessed that they are losing their why, they are losing their mission. And so they are
Mhm.
becoming shadows instead of people on the flow.
Uh-huh, I see, I see.
Yeah. And so it's
Yeah,
about
that re
yeah.
mhm. No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the word repent has to be redefined and to have joy because anyway, we are going to make mistakes no matter what. We are humans. We are in souls in human imperfect vehicles, bones, flesh, blood, and our humanity is tied to imperfection. So why not to associate the repenting with joy by saying, "Oh, I am repenting, and I'm blessed that I was finally awake and deciding to repent." To repent.
Yeah, yeah. It's just so interesting this this word repent and in because I'm a Chinese interpreter translator that pops to my
Mhm.
mind is 悔改, right? which which means which
Ooh.
means exactly what you said. They are translating it from the original Greek language that you're talking about for this biblical word repent. Separate from what later became the church, the original language that the Bible was written in, being Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. This notion, this idea of repentance, this mataneo, right? This Greek word, it blends two different Greek words together. And this turning around and changing direction is exactly what you just said, Ali. It's mixing and blending two separate Greek words into one word. And that's exactly what it's talking about is turning around and changing the direction of your life. And that's exactly what you just said. That is awesome.
Let me breathe on that. I think I'm blessed to have this powerful conversation with you because the more I speak with you, the more I'm amazed. And it's not about only you, it's about us because we are sharing things that probably we don't know for each others, and that's why I don't know if you were aware from Rachel the Johari window, because there are things that I know that you don't know, and vice versa,
Mhm.
and things even that we both don't know, but other brains are knowing, and so that's why it's important to be surrounded by people having the same value and the same desire to serve humanity while we are still alive. And I want to also dedicate this session to people that impacted our life because I want also to include your people. and my people, and also in the audience people, but I will quote some of my people. That was Angel from my friend that helped me mentally. Also, Dorothy Auger, a poet that I was knowing in 2016 and passed away 2 years ago. And last year, also acknowledging some people passing away, like Odile, my dear friend from Britain, that offered me my some objects, some gifts, and powerful conversation. But also my friend Axel, who passed away on 6th of December. It was really a shock for me. He was 61. And more, I feel like there is no expiration date. A few days ago, sadly, I don't know if you know this person, but he's a public figure. He is the founder of Coaching.com, WBEX, Alex Pascal,
Wow, no
and
way. Wow.
he passed away at 40 years old.
No.
So young. He had a few lung cancer.
Oh no. I'm
And
sorry.
yeah, it was shocking. I was not knowing him personally, but I was seeing him here and there on some coaching.com sessions. But
Mhm.
it reminds me that, even though I'm blessed if I can live 85 years in my life, it's not
Mhm.
granted. I can leave my body tomorrow as he did at 40 years old, as my mom did at 40 years old. It was 36 years ago. I will celebrate on the 8th of May,
Mhm.
the anniversary of her passing. And it's to realize that why not to have joy and then to build success, and not to wait to have reached a certain amount of success in order to have joy. Joy for me, it's each step of the way, each day, each hour, and not only when I am quote unquote successful, because also it depends on the society standards. I feel already successful, especially knowing the quote of Ralph Waldo Emerson, that success means when you are at least impacting one life, that you are making one life heart lighter to live.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I'm so sorry for those ones that you've lost there, Ollie. I'm sorry for your loss there because I think about some of my dear friends that I've lost as well. Um, it's difficult to find the words really to describe that type of pain when you think about them. So many memories just flood your mind when you think about them that it's hard to get the words out of your mouth and find what to say. But you know, you were mentioning someone who had a really great impact, which was coaching.com founder.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that it makes me think of is someone that we've also lost here in the language community. And,
Yes.
mhm.
Yes, it was last
Uh,
year, I think. And I'm not sure, but because of her first name, but I think it was beginning by C. Claire? I don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What was that again? I didn't get the last part.
Clara or Claire? I'm not
Claire.
sure.
Yes, right. That's right. That's right. And I was also thinking of a friend of a friend.
Hmm.
So my friend is Dr. Harry Cotton.
Hmm.
He's a doctor of language
Hmm.
out of out of Britain. Uh, and so actually, I want to ask Rachel if she knows him because I just call him Harry. Uh, I've known Harry for many years, and I wonder if Rachel, because they seem to be around the same age, so they should be around maybe the same group of colleagues from
Mm.
England. But Harry Dr. Harry Cotton, he knew Dr. Paul Pimsleur. So, which was a huge influence on me in becoming a professional translator for the Chinese Mandarin.
Mm.
We affectionately called them the Pimsleur tapes.
Oh.
Yeah, because this was during a time before smartphones.
Mm.
I mean, at this time, mobile phones really were just starting to be widely used by the general public.
Mm.
And I would carry around a Sony Walkman with me with a cassette tape inside, and the cassette tape was produced by Pimsleur Language.
Mm.
And I would listen to it as I walked the streets of New York back and forth to work or going to do my laundry or heading out with friends. New Yorkers generally don't have a car. So we normally walk everywhere we need to go, and your shoes become your car.
Mhm.
so so while I'm walking, I would be listening to these Pimsleur tapes.
Mm.
And the way that Pimsleur structures their language program is they use the scaffolding method, but they reverse engineer scaffolding for the adult brain. And this really, I still remember the very first sentence in Chinese with Pimsleur. 我想两杯啤酒. And it's the same for everybody. Anybody that's ever used Pimsleur, they will just say the same sentence, but in French or in Spanish or in Chinese or, whatever, or in Portuguese. It doesn't matter. And so it means I would like two, I would like 2 glasses of beer. And you?
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
It's like one for me and one for you, right? Because you're supposed to be with people, and that was the beauty about it, was that it was supposed to be helping you connect with other people. Not that you were going to drink 2 glasses of beer, but that it was supposed to be 1 glass for you and 1 glass for someone else, maybe a friend or maybe a stranger that you were being nice to. Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow, wow, wow. So that first, what impresses me is that it's like learning a language. We have to be specific also because if ever I want to learn Spanish, by the way, do I want to learn the Madrid way or the Argentina or the Mexico way? Because there is the basics, but there is the dialects. It's like I was joking about English, and so a friend that she was in Saudi Arabia and she was learning the UK way, and then she went to US, and she was talking about at school. Asking for a colleague student to give her a rubber, and a rubber in US is not a rubber in UK. This is kind of funny, you know? Yeah,
I
an
just got it.
eraser
Oh my God,
to
Ollie, I just
erase.
got it.
Yeah. So the words are different, the accent are different, like boy noite, boy noichi, the idioms, the expressions.
Mhm.
Even in US, there are expressions that are not the same or in the north. In Canada, there are words that are not used in France or in Switzerland. Even in Africa, there is
Mm.
competitionné, which is to make competition, to compete, which doesn't exist neither in France, Switzerland, Belgium, Canada. It only exists in one part of Africa.
Yes.
And so it's about adapting to the locality anyway, or really making an intention. Do we want to learn the English of US, the English of UK, or the English of Australia? Because there are also differences, I think.
Ah.
Or the English of New Zealand, or the English of Africa.
Yeah, pigeon English, right? West, what they call West African pigeon.
Yeah, because also I'm so passionate that I was making some research, and there are 17 different Arabics way. There are 17 different Arabics depending on the region.
Yes, yes. Egyptian Arabic is a very famous one, as opposed to the Arabic that they would speak in, you know, Syria or Saudi Arabia, right? The what people generally think of as the Middle East.
Yeah, and plus on top of that, the 17 different accents only in UK. In UK, 17 different accents. So language is not tied to a dictionary also. It's evolving across years and decades. And the spelling, the pronunciation. So it's really it's a living being, and it might have variations. So that's my passion, my enthusiasm. No, we can still have we could talk hours and hours, by the way, but I'm mindful about your time. I don't know how much time do you have, my friend.
You know, Ali, I am enjoying myself so much with you and with the audience that we have here. I am totally in my comfort zone here. I'm in my happy place, Ali.
Okay,
So
so let's say 25 more minutes, and then we can wrap up at 70 minutes of us talking.
sure, sure. I have another meeting after this anyway, but you know, one of the things that I think of when I think of English dialects, because most Americans and most North Americans and native English speakers, they tend not to think of English as having dialects. When every
Mhm.
language out there has dialects, uh, even a small country like Czech Republic speaking this language, right? This Český jazyky. It's this yaziku is even within a small country like Czech has different dialects that you wouldn't normally think it would because there are only worldwide maybe only like maybe 10 million Czech speakers. So however, once you learn one Slavic language, it definitely opens you up to other Slavic based languages. And you will say, hey, I recognize that word. I can't speak the whole language, but I recognize that word in another Slavic based language. So in English, I think about even within my own family, Ollie, within my own family, I would have to translate what one black person in California is trying to say to another black person coming from Alabama. It boggles my
Oh.
mind that I had to translate, even though they're both speaking English, they could not understand one another. So, one of the perfect examples for me is the word water. Mhm.
Mhm.
The word water in English. In California, we say water, water. In New York, do you know how they say it in New York?
No.
Water.
Oh.
Water. Like a wood, like a wooden chair or a wooden table. It's wood. Water. And and
Ah.
and what about posh England? What about in I know you said that like there's so many different dialects and accents just in England alone, not mentioning Scottish or Irish or some of the
Mhm.
other regions there within the UK, but just in England generally the way they say water is and of course it's a meme. It's so famous now that it's a meme on the internet. A bottle of water.
Wood.
So you go from California, water, right? Like surfers, water, dude. And from to New York, water. And then to England, water, a bottle of water.
Wow. Yeah, that's you are spelling it. You are spelling it. I'm like I will say also a joke like muy bien because muy bien in French muy means when you are wedding something like muy mouillé.
Thank you, thank you. So this is just one example, like you said, of these dialects that we have in every language. These examples really help us as professionals to in, in infuse our teaching, infuse our coaching with our learners, with our adult language learners, to really help them feel the language, not just to learn it, but to feel it.
Hmm. And then also to be aware of our learners, because do they want to learn a language in the locality or in the aim to connect with clients of another location? Because if I imagine I have a learner from Montreal, Quebec, I have to ask the question: do you want to learn the French in Canada, or do you want to learn the French in France? Because there are some aspects, like for instance, the French in Belgium, there are some aspects that are not the same as the French in France, beginning by the numbers, because if in France there is 70 to 70, in Belgium is 70. So there are multiple variations of the localities. So it's also to be aware about also if the person is in Montreal and want to learn the French of Canada, I'm going to direct him to TV series or radios that are specific there. Not going to send this person the radio of Switzerland because it will be like not useful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It would be too useful, right?
Yeah. So I wanna know first. You thought about the because I want to tap into that also the countries that are decided to split because there is Czech, but at some point there was Czechoslovakia and then it split to Czech Republic and then Slovakia. What are your thoughts living in Czech? Is there any hate or any struggle about
No,
Slovakia?
no, not at all. Actually, yeah, that's going back to their Czech and Slovak histories back in 1989, and of course after the fall of the USSR, right, the Soviet Union. That's when they split.
Mm,
The countries historically are related to one another, not only because the cultures and the language are closely related, but because they've been intermarrying each other for so long. For
mm.
instance, my wife, she is half Czech and half Slovak. Her first language was
Oh.
Slovakian and Slovatsky, right? And then her mom was speaking this Česky with her, and of course she went to a
Mm.
Czech school, but because of living in Czech Republic, but she would often travel back and forth on a monthly or every few months. They would travel back and forth to visit the families in Slovakia and here in Czech Republic. So the two countries and cultures and languages are very closely related. So much so that both of them can understand each other very nicely. The same way that America, when I say America, the United States, because Mexico is part of America. Uh, Brazil and Argentina are part of America. It's just South America. So the same way that
Mhm.
the United States and Canada can understand English that is spoken in Britain, and the UK and Ireland, when they say rubber, imagine me teaching this word to first graders in school. This was my experience not too long ago. I was working at a school here in the Czech Republic, studying children and the way that they learn language, and then translating that experience into adult learning models. So I infused my NeuroLanguage coaching with the natural way that children approach and process language. And let me tell you, I've been seeing great results from my adult learners in their progress, their retention, their recall of their new language, and their ability to produce language on the fly, just spontaneously. That is how we originally were created to produce language, was just like children.
Mhm.
So as adults, we just forgot how to do it. You know, Americans and Canadians, they and native English speakers as a whole, we haven't learned a language in so long. It's like riding a bike. You need a little practice on the bike, and yeah, you're going to lose your balance, but eventually you're going to remember how you learned as a kid and as a child at play. So I infuse that philosophy into my neurolanguage coaching for my adults. And so basically, when I was in teaching in the school, I actually had to teach this word rubber to first graders without them knowing the other meaning,
Well,
without giving
if they
any
are
type of
curious,
sexual context.
yeah, if they are curious, they are going to know, because if they are researching more about this word, they are going to know. There is an example, because I was even not aware about the origin, about the etymology, and I will let our audience and yourself let's discover. The word in French is enfoiré, and it's a kind of vulgar and pejorative word, but not so much vulgar. I think it's like the low or mid level of vulgarity. But then, if
Mm,
you are searching the etymology, whew, if you are searching the etymology of foiré or enfoiré, that's in Latin something that is kind of. I'm not going to go into the rabbit hole to quote this word. It's not a bad word, but let's say that you have a problem, digestive problem, and that you are stuck in the toilet. Let's say like that. I'm not going to go. Feel free to discover, but it's to mess up. In fact, in English,
with
to
that
mess.
mental picture, Ali, I will not forget this French word, enfoiré.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
I will not forget it.
Yeah. So that's to mess up, to screw up, to spread some bad stuff. So but
That's like the beginning of me learning Chinese. I was trying to say me, like I, right?
mhm,
You know, in Spanish, you will say
mhm,
yo puedo, right?
yeah.
I. In Czech, we will say ya, which is kind of weirdly related, but you will say ya, ya sim, I am.
Mhm,
And so in Chinese, the way you say I or me is in Cantonese is ngo, ngo. It's like a really kind of deep throat type of ngo. And I said it wrongly because I was just learning. I was saying, you know, I like, you know, ice cream. And it sounds kind of bad in English. The word sounds bad for ice cream,
mhm,
which is related to what I'm trying to say to you right now. Uh, I said in the wrong tone, "Mwah," instead of "ngọ," I said "ngọ," and that is actually someone like you just said, the enfant. It's it's on the you're on the toilet pushing.
Oh
You're
la
pushing
la la
something
la.
out on the toilet. And I said it wrong, and it was bad. And especially with the word I was saying in Cantonese, the word for ice cream. By the way, the word for in Mandarin is really nice. It's like "bing qiling," and it's like a frozen happy dessert, something sweet, right?
Mhm.
But in Cantonese, the translation is actually much prettier. It means snow paste.
Ooh.
Aha,
Yeah, kind
aha.
of poetic.
It's frozen like it is quite poetic in Cantonese, quite poetic. Snow, but like a paste, like you would spread onto a cake. It's
Ooh.
wow, it's so amazing. But the sound of it in English isn't so nice. The way you say it is shit, go.
Yeah.
Literally, shit, go.
Yeah, yeah, I think there are many laws about that. Words that are pronounced in different language or written, like four, 1, 2, 3, 4 in English is oven in French, four. But it's written the same. But oof, there's so much to say, and I would like to now direct the conversation about language between people because in 89, my just few weeks after my mom passed away, my dad decided to have some holidays, well-deserved holidays, because it was heavy for him in the last months and years about her illness. And we went
Mm,
to ex-Yugoslavia. But at that time, in 89, it was still Yugoslavia. So I
mhm,
remind myself about how much the some people governing or some occasions, events make people
mhm,
split. And ex-Yugoslavia is a good example because I don't know, maybe you know and you can enlighten us, but I was thinking that they might have shared the same language, but adapting to different spellings or different scriptures. So, because it was Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Macedonia, and also Kosovo. So it's a kind of a complex situation.
yeah, I agree, I
Um,
agree.
do you know more about ex-Yugoslavia?
Um, y I don't know, are you talking about Slovakia or Yugoslavia?
Yugoslavia,
Yeah,
yeah.
the history, I do know a lot about that part of the world because of living here and because of trying to understand other Slavic-based languages like Croatian and like you
Mhm.
said, Moldovan and all of those little like
Mhm.
Serbian, all of those little countries that used to be together, but like you said, the languages and cultures are a little bit different. And after the fall of the Soviet Union, them trying to negotiate territories and them trying to figure out who belongs to who, and they had spent so much time um, loving each other and intermarrying, and then now when there's more money involved, when there is power involved, corruption involved, it
Mm.
really tends to divide people in an animalistic way, unfortunately. It's really so sad, Ali. And so when you talk to the people there, living in these territories, in these areas, I find that the people themselves really want to get along and really want to live happily together, but these unseen forces, I guess we can call them, these unseen
Yeah.
forces are manipulating the situation and causing so much chaos. So the languages, as you mentioned, that the languages are very much related to one another, just like Czech and Slovakian are related. And so, it's a sad situation, but hopefully moving forward, hopefully things can get better. At least that's our goal. One of our goals, Ali, your goal and my goal, is to help bring the world closer together through making a language bridge by helping people become bilingual, trilingual, and multilingual. We are shrinking the planet into one big happy family, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my aim too. And in fact, to start with us as example, and to invite others to do the same, to remove our shoes, to remove our shoes, to choose to remove our shoes. I play with words, and to go to each other's space. And no matter what, the most important is to know not be in our space, to not be in their space, but to choose together a space where we can be together in a desired future, where we can understand our differences and at the same time remain united, remain one. It's like the metaphor of the diamond. The diamond has dozens and thousands of different shapes, yet it is one diamond, shining thousands of different brilliance, but for the same diamond.
I like that. I like that. Like Rihanna, right? Like her song, "Shine bright like a diamond."
Yeah, yeah. So
I
that's why,
like that.
yeah, that's why I'm aiming to see a world that is united, no matter what the decisions, because I think the perfect example is that there are people that are no discarding any language in US because they wanna stick to English, and I don't like the decision, by the way, to enforce people to stick to English and to discard the other languages. I was hearing someone who was natively Spanish say, "I'm going to continue to speak Spanish even if the big D decides only to stick with English. I'm going to stay because Spanish is my heritage." Same with Cantonese or Mandarin for the Asian community in US. And I will say also, same between Russians and Ukrainians, between Palestinians and Israelis, between Hong Kong and China. It might be a path, it might be a path where we are making efforts, no matter what. Like there are people that might discard to learn Russian because of Vladimir, or discard to learn Mandarin because they don't like the choices of the government.
Right.
But should we decide to consider a language as universal, as and not as, oh, I'm not going to speak Mandarin because of da da da. I'm not going to speak Russian because of da 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 da. So I think it's really to find a way to discover each other's spaces and to make efforts. Like I was already years ago, I was discovering the Muslim culture in my city. There were some visits on mosque, and I was entering a mosque and was learning how they are doing their. They was having their fancy tech, knowing the hours for the prayers. So I think it's really to understand the different cultures and to remove our shoes, to make the effort to each other's discover different spaces, so that when people are aiming to dismantle, we are saying, no, you are not going to harm this person because this person is my friend. That's my aim, is to find a way to not let any external forces divide us, because we are for each other's, and because we value each other's differences. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree. In Czech, we would say "souhlasím," "souhlasím." I totally agree with you. 我同意了. You know, it's like you are shouting it from the rooftops, Ali. I see you. I see your liberation fight. I see your fist in the air to really help everyone, bring everyone together as a human family. It is so important. It's more important now than ever before in human history. You know, our planet has more people now than it has ever had in the history of the earth. So at this
Mhm.
moment, we share this beautiful green and blue marble we call home, that we call earth. And I think it's more important now for people to come together, whatever the issues are that people face. Generally, it's not people themselves, but it's normally those unseen forces that are manipulating the situation. When the normal regular people like you and me, look at our background, your background and my background are completely different, yet we love each other because we love the essence of who we are as a human, as humans, right? As human brothers. And so I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yes, and that's why I'm also aiming aside languages to go discover also language justice. Because for me, words are important, and that it's also about the mindset to always aim for mindset of abundance, and at the same time to know that I cannot live in abundance in a world if people are not living in abundance. I think it's not fair if we are in abundance but others aren't, because then then we are then facing a situation where we are not living in abundance and no one can help us because everyone is taking to their own field, and they say no, I'm just sticking to my field, I'm not going to help you. So that's why it's important to aim to be in abundance. That means also to point out people that want to have the 80% of resources. That's not fair. Like there is enough abundance for us, but not enough abundance for people having greed. So that's I will let you share your final words about language justice if you would like to share.
No, I about language justice, I do feel that what you said earlier is very powerful. Allowing people the freedom to choose and to grow their language is is something that provides a level of justice. I think that is beyond. I think it's beyond what we can know. What our potential is as human beings. Um, it's like that famous author. He said that when you learn a new language, you live a new life, right? So, how many lives can we live in this one human life that we have here on Earth? And the more languages that we know, I believe, gives us more of a sense of justice for the groups of people that language represents. For me, language represents people. And if I want to connect with those people, I really must learn something about their language. Maybe that's what's driven me to learn good morning and thank you and hello, 50, 60 plus languages, is my desire to people. The people behind those languages are so important to me. And the justice that is represented by what you just said. Language justice is such an important issue today. And I believe that it by itself, having language justice would resolve not all, but many of the problems that we see in the world today. I want to say that that's probably a beautiful side effect of the work that you and I are doing. Our work is so important because it is actually having a ripple effect, an outward ripple effect into the communities that we serve, Ollie. When we teach someone and help someone to speak another culture's language, another person's language, it has a positive ripple effect into that community that is resulting in justice.
Thank you so much. I'm really blessed because it's like, I'm pretty sure that we all neural language coaches, by the way, I'm also sharing our network from Rachel. She built something incredible, and we are now 2,000 neural language coaches, and probably thousands and thousands of more of language teachers aiming to to build a better world. And it's reassuring to realize that we are not the only rare human birds trying to extinguish the fire. Referencing the Amerindian quote about a hummingbird that is going from the river to the fire of the forest to extinguish it. And the animals say, "What are you doing? It doesn't make sense. You cannot really get rid of the fire with with what you have in your mouth." But the hummingbird was saying, "I know, but I'm doing my part. And what about you?" So it's also reassuring that we are together as a community. We are not the only human birds trying to elevate this world. And we can also rest, but we can also say, let's collaborate, let's co-elevate. I will say the word collaborate to each other's.
I love that. I love that. That is the energy I am looking for, Ollie. Collaborate, collaborate. I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. Thank you for your spirit and for your energy. By the way, those two words are the same word in Chinese language. The word for spirit and the word for energy is the same word. So thank you for your spirit and your energy, Oli, putting this out into the world for people to grab onto. It is quite contagious, honestly. That's how I feel around you. I feel like your energy is contagious.
Wow. And so time flies, 78 minutes. It's really incredible that we came to that. Thank you again also for the replay team for watching until the end. You are so brave because nowadays, like, people cannot really stand more than 30, 40 minutes. But maybe if you are listening into the end, thank you so much for watching listening to this session. So I am this is the link to Neural Language Coach Network, and this is also the link to your website. And I'm really blessed to see you in a bit more than 4 weeks in Sitges, having some hugs and
Yes.
coffee chat. And before we are ending this session, imagine, I wish that you can live 40 more years, but imagine that today is the last day on Earth. What is your departing message to the audience?
If today was my last day on earth, my departing message would be remember, love is not just a feeling, but an action word.
Action word. Love is a verb.
Love is not just, it's not just an adjective. Love is a verb. hmm
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Les, for your deep presence. I am blessed to have talked with you. These 78, 80 minutes will never go back, and I'm really blessed to have spent it with you and to have more conversations in a bit more than 4 weeks. So
I'm
thank
so looking forward.
you.
Woohoo! We finally get to see.
Woohoo!
We
Amazing.
finally get to see each other in person. Yes, I'm looking
Yes,
forward so much.
me too. And thanks, Rachel. Thanks for the community. It is the third year for me, and the first and the second year was already also amazing. The third year, well, it's the now. Like in a bit more than 4 weeks. It's right now. So the past is the past, but now is not replaceable. So that's why I'm really blessed. I'm scared sometimes, but I'm also blessed and enthusiastic because I do some actions. So with that, my friends, I am going to close the session. Keep shining, everyone, and see other episodes like tomorrow NaPodPoMo episode. I don't know if I will be alone or with someone, but